On that last video we showed the DC to DC converter. That's how I'm going to power the power station. So the wire runs along the gunnel, comes into the dinette area through a pass-through. You see there's my XT60 plug. I'm going to park the power station under there, and then the output from the power station is going to go to a fuse panel up here. And right now I have the fridge and a DC to DC converter connected, and the DC to DC converter goes to a Starlink, which the wire runs along the edge there and then up underneath to the Starlink, which is mounted in the acrylic panel for the front hatch. I made a bracket out of some scrap aluminum to hold an illuminated switch that allowed me to easily turn on and off Starlink. Now I'm going to tuck that switch up underneath here where I'll still have access to it. So I'll see it at night if the Starlink's left on. I don't want to leave it running at night. Another quick project to tackle is this little 12-volt fridge. This was in my son's semi when he was doing over-the-road trucking. So it's small, it'll fit, it's free. That's probably the primary criteria. And so I'm going to put it underneath the driver's seat. And I just need to take off this cabinet, and then there are 6 screws holding that bottom board down below. So I'm going to tackle that right now. I need to make some supports to put underneath the fridge and then on the sides of the fridge. I have all 4 boards cut, so I'm going to go ahead and paint them and then install them. All right, next small project is I'm going to replace the trailer jack. I'm going to put on one that has an adjustable height so that I can get it lifted up a little bit higher. 5,000 pound heavy duty capacity. I'm going to put some Ultra Tef gel on the bolts and nuts so they don't corrode as easily. We're installed. I moved it to the opposite side so that hand knuckles don't hit here. Let's hop over and give it a try, see how well it works. Much better than the previous one. Knocking out all the little projects. I have an anchor swivel to put in between the chain and the anchor, so I'm going to do that next. And all I need to do is put in some, tighten that up and put some lock wire in, push it through the hole there and lock it in place. That's it. Easy.
You show your new jack.
I like that jack, huh?
I didn't tell her how much it cost.
Some boat. Bust out another 1,000.
Mantis, the strongest link in your chain. So I get some sponsorships.
Too bad. I'm not sponsored.
Nobody ever gives you nothing for free, huh? You ever get a product?
Yeah, I get storage at the boat lodge. That's free.
But you don't get no, like, you got free GPS.
No.
Some of these content providers get free stuff to try out.
Yeah, well, they got big channels.
Yeah, you gotta figure out how to get yours bigger. Cat videos.
Cat videos.
I saw your cat on one of the videos.
Not my cat, shop cat.
Yeah.
She came out supervised.
On to the next little project on the list. These are the port covers for the fuel tank. And I'm gonna go ahead and take it apart, pressure wash them, and then try to do some trim restoration. It's gonna be easier to do this if I take the snap ring off, take the different pieces apart. Unscrew this. So that's out. Another snap ring hiding down there. And hopefully this comes out. It does. So now I can clean this up without this being in the way. Okay, I'm gonna use this Eastwood plastic restore. It's a matte black. It's been 10 minutes, so I'm back for round 2. The can says 2 to 4 light coats. And here's what that fuel hatch looks like after it's been restored. Looks good. The next project is to install the transducer on the transom of the boat. I went to Rytec Marine's website and bought a block that I can screw onto the back of the boat and seal, and a heavy-duty transducer mount. This is a Garmin GT51M-TM transducer. So I filled in the old holes with epoxy, and I've already marked the location for this block to know this is the lowest it needs to be. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit so I cover this hole at the top and as well as at the bottom. What's nice about this block, it has a groove on the back that I can fill with 3M 4200 to get a watertight seal. I need to set the height for this transducer mounting location. So it's going to be pretty much even with the bottom and then drop 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to put some of this Ultra Tef gel on the screws for the transducer. Now I need to load this top hole with that 4200 sealant, and as well as these screw holes, put a cap on it. The transducer's mounted, ready to go. Should be plenty sealed. One of the problems with these old Honda outboards is this vertical shaft that the outboard turns on becomes locked up, and the issue is there's a grease fitting down here at the bottom, and so the grease ends up pushing out before it can travel all the way to the top. Now on this outboard, someone resolved that issue by adding a second grease fitting up high. So you can grease both low and high so the grease travels. So I'm gonna go get a drill and go ahead and add an extra grease fitting on this one. Here's the grease fitting with the little Tef gel on the edge. What I need to do is take a torch and heat this tube up so the old grease will flow out a little bit easier. I just had grease blow out at the bottom, so that definitely worked. I got grease through the whole vertical column. I was hoping it was going to push out at the top. Let's clean this up. Okay, we're going to put grease on this one. Since I have access to it, then we'll spin the motors and grease the lower fittings. Not going to show the rest of this on video.